It has long been established that a secure property rights regime is a critical ingredient for economic development. Unfortunately, the Philippines is a classic case of insecure property rights. Consider the current statistics. There are 7,100 islands in the Republic of the Philippines, which roughly translates to approximately 24.2 million parcels of land. 46% of this amount is untitled. Out of the 46%, an estimated 70%, or close to 7.8 million land parcels, are residential, according to a study done by the De La Salle Institute of Governance, or the LSIG, in 2010. Without a valid land title to be used as collateral, owners of these residential lots are limited from borrowing money from banks for business or personal use. If there is a way to borrow money, owners will go through procedures that will not be favorable to them. This significantly limits their opportunities for growth and also negatively impacts land market activity for the whole country. The Foundation for Economic Freedom hopes to remedy this through the Property Rights for Economic Progress, or PREP project. Launched with the help of the Asia Foundation and USAID, PREP aims to spread information and create awareness on the existing Residential Free Patent Act, RA 123 of 2010. Why this new alternative? The old way was time-consuming and very expensive for the average Filipino. This is mainly why most residential owners were discouraged from applying for a land title in the past, considering an applicant typically had to pay around 100,000 pesos in legal fees alone, according to the LSIG study. In a country where the Department of Labor and Employment has pegged the average monthly income in the National Capital Region at roughly 13,000 pesos or 156,000 pesos a year, even less for rural areas, this is obviously not a practical option. Also, the LSIG study found out that the old application process could take up to 18 months to complete. That is, if you're lucky. There have been documented cases when it took years, even decades, before the landowner could get a hold of the title, which had been rightfully his to begin with. The result is a staggering loss of numerous financially viable opportunities on top of the frustration and despair suffered by the homeowners. This is the main issue that the PREP intends to address. As a result of the nationwide information campaign on the Residential Free Patent Act, 7.8 million untitled residential lands in the country can now start entering the formal market economy. Residential owners can now enjoy an easier, much cheaper, and quicker titling process. Aside from minimal miscellaneous costs, the application process will now be entirely free, and titles are granted in as little as 120 days or 4 months. In effect, these newly titled lands are expected to have the following impacts on national development. 1. Newly titled lands can now be used as collateral for bank loans to enable residents to fund entrepreneurial activities and home improvement. 2. Increased market value of residential lands will translate to better real property tax collection by local government units. 3. Revenue collection by the Internal Revenue will also stand to benefit due to the payment of capital gains and documentary stamp taxes. In addition to the economic benefits, the PREP also has political and social benefits, namely, homeowners will be protected against land grabbing. Societal and family conflict will also be minimized as land titles come under the ambit and protection of the law, enabling parents to transmit them easily to their heirs. Likewise, homeowners' real estate investments are made secure against fraudulent sale, purchase, and business transactions. But more importantly, nothing compares to the joy felt by the homeowners when they finally receive their title. Having a title is now their safeguard against that fear that their property may be taken away by land grabbers. The sense of security that comes from having something they can truly call their own is priceless. In these modern times of rapid technological advances and fast-paced lifestyles, the peace of mind and assurance that comes from having something permanent is much more valuable than any monetary equivalent for these humble landowners. The residents' hopes are renewed and their spirits are lifted because long-term opportunities to improve their lives are once again possible. And this can only take place in a society where its members can live without fear, knowing that their property rights, their human rights, are secure and well protected. Support the Property Rights for Economic Progress project and help us blaze the trails toward a secure property rights regime in the Philippines, starting with the Residential Free Patent Act. For more information, you may call the Foundation for Economic Freedom Secretariat at 632-453-2375 or visit us